all this evidence, like everything coming out, and then finally Finn comes up separately and just like spills the beef. I would play that every time. Like, oh, what do we need to do? Because like, there's whatever it is. They're all Satan worshipers, for example. Like I always say,
right.
what do we need to do?
Exactly.
See him take it.
Literally, yeah. As opposed to this one.
Never too early for Dr. Pepper.
Never too early for Dr. Pepper.
There is I think I told you that there is a Twitter account that just quotes like Christopher Moltisanti in modern times or something like that, you know.
That's funny. All right. I'm going to check that out. If we're not following that on the Groundless account, we should be.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll do that. It's like the Don Draper in the 90s or something, or 80s.
Oh,
you heard that account? Yeah, it's like that, like something similar to that, which is
cool.
Hilarious.
So basically Don Draper, right?
That's the
Don
joke,
Draper, right? Don Draper in the 80s is just Don Draper. Yeah.
The 80s are moving so fast, and we need parachute pants to slow it down, or something like that.
It's great. Oh, all right. Well, let's talk about the other storyline in here. Ava. Let's talk about Ava for a minute. So, aside from the fact that Dale Dickey is fantastic in her role as Judith, the prison storyline is really, I mean, it can be really tough to get through. And so basically, I have a clip of the conversation of Ava and Judith meeting, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in prison, and then we'll get to the drug dealing. So
I'm Ava.
I know who you are. Penny's been trying to witness since you got here. You wouldn't give her the time of day.
Never really had any use for religion.
Of course not. Girl with your looks gets along just fine out there without giving any thought to her soul.
But I ain't out there anymore.
No. Missy, you are not.
I've been listening to you talk. There's a lot of sense in it.
You think I don't know why you're all of a sudden batting your eyes at me? You want protection, sanctuary. Keep these bitches from stomping you and cutting you. Worse.
So what if I do?
And at least you're honest. What I preach in here, what I say in my prayers, I mean. It don't really seem to me like you're ready to hear about that just yet.
I am willing to.
No, that's okay. I get it. But this ain't the 70s, when the Moonies and Jesus freaks gotta pass. The reason we don't get jacked with is we're the ones bringing in the drugs.
Oh.
I don't hold with them. Don't none of us use them, but we do provide. That's why they leave us alone.
You up for that? What do I have to do?
Got some coming in today. Penny will show you.
I gotta think it's dangerous. Only reason you offering me the job.
It's got its downside. Like I said, Penny will show you the ropes.
yeah. And so what we find out is that the downside of that operation is that Penny bangs the guard, and then the plumber gives up the drugs.
Yeah.
And
once again, the female prisoner, the assistant, is way hotter than real life. You know. Like
yes.
You know?
Yeah. Every woman in that prison is hotter than real life. I mean, like, even the women who were getting out of the shower, like they were extras or whatever, and the plumber's standing there and they're all toweled up getting out of the shower. I'm like, yeah, women are gorgeous. They're not in prison. Their makeup and hair and everything else. I did stumble across a weird area of TikTok the other day where it was just a woman in a prison talking about herself to the camera, And I did a little bit of research on it. And apparently there's all these accounts out there that have these women who are in prison who there's like websites that you can get on and communicate with them and sponsor them and like send money to their commissary and like a whole thing.
Oh,
and so it's like these women are, I just want to find somebody who I can talk to, you know, or whatever. And
yeah.
they're all made up and their hair is done and everything else on those.
Women's OnlyFans or like prison OnlyFans for prisoners.
I don't know. I don't know how it ended up in my. I've only like one or two like times in my TikTok it's shown up in there, but yeah.
God, I don't know. I don't have TikTok, but I do have Twitter, personal Twitter, and I just get like random stuff. Like now I'm addicted, not addicted, but yeah, sort of addicted to watching like these fight. Like just random street fights or people who are, which is pretty bad because
I told you
some
about
people just
some of them are really bad. I was telling you about 4chan and what they post and like you never know what you're gonna see and you click on one of those. So
I mean, I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of like I like the when criminals get owned or they
for sure.
fail. I like that, but man, some of the ones that come across, the good guys definitely doesn't win.
Right,
they don't always win, and it's kind of like, okay, well, you got to train or whatever.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. What's his name? Pelosi video that they released. Like,
oh yeah,
it was shocking. What I'm shocked that they released that the way they did. Like, you can literally hear him towards the end of the video, like snoring, groaning,
because he was like
breathing because he got bashed in the head. Yeah.
And it makes like if you've watched it, like because I think I watched it maybe 3 or 4 times, and I get the impression that the way that he was acting, because people are saying like whatever, it was staged, whatever, but I think it like my impression was that here's a guy who, because you can see the guy break into the house, right? There's video of that, and then like he answers the door, and it's him trying to be calm and not like stir. That's the way my take ended up being. I thought it was going to be, like something different, but that's my take, was that it was something that he was trying to not, escalate the situation, and he answered it and the door that way.
Yeah. And I agree with you 100%. Like I don't know how I would answer the door if a guy was holding me hostage with a hammer, but that's probably roughly how I would do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so, it's and you can see the at the beginning. I mean, the guy really did break into the house. I mean, they were like I just remember all the stories. Yeah,
bashing in the door. I mean, it was, and he got in like so fast. That was terrifying, actually.
Yeah.
I look at like my front door, and I'm like, oh Jesus, somebody could kick that in, no problem.
You got to reinforce it.
I guess.
You got to put
a steel door, or like, one of those bars that they have in New York City or whatever.
Yeah, well, because doors are easy to, like, you can kick in a door pretty easily.
Yeah, especially I have a double door on the front door of my house. So.
Oh, maybe you should be saying that because all you like phone free,
phone free. Yeah, anyone who wants to know where I live already does. So so. Well, let's we'll get back to this here. So where were we? We were we were talking about prison, and the women in prison being much more attractive than they are in real life. So Penny goes and has sex with the guard. The plumber turns over the drugs. Ava doesn't like this relationship, the structure for the business transaction very much. So she plants part of the drugs on the plumber before he can leave. What I thought was funny about this, they see Ava, and by the way, this is Ava after she had just caught a beat down in prison and chopped her hair with a shiv. And the plumber sees Ava and he perks right up like, oh, hey, how's it going? As opposed to Penny. And Penny's like, what am I, dog shit?
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. And so Penny is Danielle Panabaker, right? Do you know, or Panabaker? I don't know how you pronounce that name, but she's been in a bunch of stuff too, including the new Friday the 13th movie that came out a few years ago and whatnot. But her sister is Kay Panabaker, and she was in something on the WB or something. So she's been in a bunch of stuff, and she's a very, very pretty lady. and even when compared directly with Ava. So it is funny that they're like, oh, what an upgrade Ava is over Penny. I don't know.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Penny was at least willing, it seemed. Ava is very much not. Like, you should tell the prison guard what happened to the last prison guard that tried to touch Ava.
Yeah, true.
Like, it doesn't end well. Men who enter Ava's orbit don't tend to live real long.
No. I mean, like, the word should have gotten around that she murdered her husband.
Seriously, yeah. And Boyd was shot dead at her, almost shot dead at her dinner table. Also,
Yeah,
a week later. Yeah,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, but so after the plumber gets busted, the drug obviously flow gets shut down. Ava says to Judith, she's like, "Oh, hey, I can get us heroin if we need to get heroin. I know where I can get some." And Judith immediately puts two and two together, like, "Oh, okay, you didn't want to have sex with a guard, so you screwed up our distribution channel, and your boyfriend is going to help us get, or your fiance is going to help us get heroin, but you better hope that you get that heroin, because if you don't, we're all in trouble, because if they aren't supplying the drugs, they're going to get messed up." And what's really funny about this is that Boyd is struggling to get the heroin in the first place.
Yeah.
So, and I think we can actually get to that now. So let's do that. So as we mentioned, Boyd and the Crows show up at Johnny's hideout. He's not there, headed for Mexico already, so they head down to Mexico. We then see Cousin Johnny calling Wood Harris, Avon Barksdale. I don't remember what his character name is in Justified because they don't ever really say it.
Yeah.
But Johnny calls him and asks him how they're doing with extracting more money from Hot Rod. Hot Rod claims that they've got it all already. They think that there's more out there to get, so they're working over Hot Rod pretty good to extract all of his cash out of him before they kill him. And Johnny is in Mexico with a bunch of cash and a few of the guys to intervene in the planned meeting with the cartel. So when Boyd arrives at the cartel mansion to do the deal with a bag full of cash, he finds Cousin Johnny already in the room. And I have a clip of that.
Now look at you. Even vultures can fly south for the winter.
How was Memphis?
Well, I'm afraid we weren't there long enough to enjoy it.
You want to tell me just how it was Hot Rod tipped you off?
Some questions don't get answered till the afterlife. Good news is you'll find out soon enough.
How much money you got in that bag, Boyd? 700? 800,000? I am not the one in trouble here.
In all my years of doing business, this is a first. And I don't mean that in a good way.
Mr. Yoon, I want to apologize for this unfortunate set of circumstances. Now, if you will give me 5 minutes alone with this piece of shit, I will eliminate this bump in our road and get us back on Easy Street.
Your cousin here claims he has vast resources at his disposal, to the tune of almost 40,000 a kilo.
My cousin Johnny, I don't see a briefcase anywhere. You got $1 million shoved up your ass?
He says he can have it here with a simple phone call.
Mr. Yoon, if I hear a deal that's too good to be true, more often than not, it's too good to be true.
It's not just the heroin, Boyd. No, I'm spending my money on something else.
Oh, yeah? What, is he gonna give you a reach around?
I'm buying your life.
Mr. Yoon, we had a deal. Now, I understand your Mexican cartels have a reputation, but let me tell you something, so do the rednecks in Kentucky.
Well, I'm willing to take that risk. But until that briefcase arrives, I won't be taking any. Now, if his money is good, I'm going with him. If he can't deliver, then I'll take yours.
Man, I remember watching this for the first time and thinking to myself, how the hell does Boyd get out of this?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is the cartel. Johnny seems to have the upper hand. Boyd's there with a bag of cash that's going to be light compared to what what Johnny's bringing, if Johnny can bring the money, right? They gave us a little bit of doubt early on in the episode when he's like, hey, have you gotten the rest of the money from Hot Rod yet? But that was to lead us to believe that he didn't have all the cash, but he already has all the cash he needs to do this transaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't understand how Boyd's going to get out of this situation. I was like, oh, okay. Well, so this is the part where either Boyd